I can see a live icon. So
okay, nice as live too. So we are live apparently. All right, hello Trekkies. Welcome to the very first collaboration video with collaboration chat with my dear friend TrekkieRob.
hi everyone. Hi Gary. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much for joining. So basically, today we gathered together to discuss and go down to memory lane with Trekkie Rob, to his recent experiences on Star Trek Destination Europe that held in Birmingham last week, October 21st, 2019 till 21st.
19th to 21st. Yep. So
Yeah,
Friday,
so
Saturday, and
basically
Sunday.
almost the last, almost the last weekend of October. So he being there, you being there. So this, as I got to know, this was your very first convention, like big Star Trek convention. How did you like
That's
it?
right. It was brilliant. I can't speak highly enough of it. It was so much fun. I mean, technically, it wasn't my first convention. I had one way back in 2003, but I don't really remember much of it. And it was much smaller. And there wasn't Twitter, so
Oh,
I wasn't.
yeah.
So it wasn't. I didn't really meet anyone else. So it was nowhere near the same. But DST last weekend was amazing. It was so much fun. I did so much. Met loads of people, actors. Went to lots of talks. Saw the DS9 documentary premiere, which was epic. Yeah.
Can't wait to hear you talk about that.
It was just so much fun. If anyone's hesitating about going, because I was initially when I first thought about it, don't worry about it. You have so much fun. People are so friendly, so welcoming. Just go for it and do it, because you'll have a great time.
And you know how ironic is that you said that you been hesitating about it the first time, and then you were the one actually on Twitter who organized the whole thing.
It was.
You made a group.
I think that was part of it. I had this irrational dread that I would be interacting with no one, I'd meet no one, it would be really boring, I'd end up just on my own, which was completely unfounded because it wasn't like that at all. So I started chatting with people on Twitter, created some like groups on Twitter to for people to interact, so we could arrange meetups. Yeah, so it was really good. It was useful doing that. So
yeah, did a really good job, because I remember I was in Andalusia, but you know, because of my circumstances, I wasn't able to go. So I actually left the club, because sometimes I was a bit like, oh my god, everyone's just talking about it and I can't go. So
I can imagine that must have been a bit painful.
Yeah, it was. So I thought, okay, I just leave the club or leave the chat for a little bit, you know.
Well, we missed you. We were gutted you weren't there. So hopefully,
I was gutted too, but you know, married life comes first. No, it's absolutely fine. There's gonna be more Star Trek clubs, more Star Trek conventions. So and obviously we have to meet up with everyone, or you know, in at least the British Trekkies,
definitely
at some point. So yeah, so it was really excited to hear your thoughts on you know, the whole day general. What was the highlight? I think last time when I was there, Saturday was the busiest day. I'm not sure if this time around it was the same, or Friday was more packed, or Sunday was kind of lame. So what was your overall opinion about the 3 days itself?
Yeah, you're right. It was Saturday was the busiest. So I arrived around midday on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fairly quiet. There weren't a huge amount of people there, so you could stroll around at your leisure. You know, there were some people you can get autographs a bit more easily. There were, you know, the queues were smaller. Saturday was heaving. There were so many people there. It was absolutely packed. I mean, it was great because it created a great buzz and atmosphere. But in terms of queues, you know, waiting for autographs, photo shoots, it was noticeably more. Saturday was the day where most people were there, because there were a lot of people that came, I spoke to, that were just there for one day. So they picked the Saturday. So yeah, there was definitely more. I think in the end, so I was talking to a few people that I know that were in the press pool for the event. I think they said that it was around 11,000 people were there on Saturday. Wow. And around 20,000 over the whole weekend.
A lot of people.
quite impressive.
Compressed into one room.
But I mean, the venue is absolutely massive. It's huge. It's like a giant aircraft hangar. It's so it doesn't feel claustrophobic or anything. It's well spaced out. Even when it on the Saturday when it was packed. So yeah, in terms of the whole weekend and memorable moments, I mean, there's so many. I think the biggest highlight was, which I don't think you'd necessarily expect, was actually just meeting other fans. You know, you'd think initially it was all about the actors and getting photos and autographs. And while that was great, it was amazing, it was just meeting other fans, people like yourself. Yeah, it was you know, hanging out with them, going for a drink, talking to people in queues, you know, during talks, going for dinner with people. Because I stayed in an Airbnb place with a group of people that I know on Twitter, and I've got to know. So that was really great, meeting them, hanging out with them. So I think, yeah, meeting other fans was probably the biggest highlight for me. Other than that, probably the biggest thing was the DS9 documentary premiere, What We Left Behind. Which
obviously, we don't have any spoilers.
No, I won't be giving out any spoilers. In fact, Ira Stephen Burr swore us to secrecy.
Okay.
So I luckily I got to Jim Morehouse, who's Enterprise Extra on Twitter, who runs Trek Ranks. It really kindly invited me as his +1 for the private screening of the documentary.
Wow.
So it was in a nearby cinema. There was maybe 50 to 100 people. Ira Stephen Burr was there. Yeah, so that was really cool seeing that. And then I really luckily then got to go again the second day, but that was actually at the NEC, the venue. So it was on the Enterprise stage, which was a huge hall. There must have been at least 1,000 people in that room watching the screening, and all the DS9 actors, all the DS9 casts were there. So I was literally about 4 rows behind, you know, Andrew Robinson, Jeffrey Combs, Chase Masterson, Armin Shimmerman. They were all there, and there were some other actors as well from TNG, the original series. So yeah, I think that was a great highlight. And obviously, I can't go into it too much, but the documentary is brilliant.
No, but I'm pretty sure that was pretty exciting. Like, not just watching the documentary that was everyone so anticipating about.
Yeah.
That you have the actual actors who played in the series and then this documentary as well. They helped making this documentary, and then they're sitting there with you. Who is that?
It didn't get old spotting people and saying, "Oh God, look there! You know, there's Andrew Robinson," and you know, there's you know, it was great. It was so much fun, and the documentary itself was such a great mix of, you know, humor, comedy. It was heartfelt. There was lots of discussions about the series, and actors' opinions, and yeah, it was really good. So if you haven't seen it yet, when it comes out, see it, because if you're a DS9 fan, you will love it, I guarantee.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm really looking forward to it as well. So you mentioned you talked about a lot of Trekkies, Trek fans, and you said you talked about actors as well. Obviously, as you mentioned, and I totally agree with you on that. Actors, you meet them. It's sometimes it's such a short time that you can spend with an actor. If you're queuing up for an autograph, you have a limited amount of time. Obviously, you can engage in our conversation with someone because that person is just there signing a picture for you, nothing else, and there are other people waiting in queue. But how many people did you get autograph from, and what was the overall feeling that when you walked up to that actor or actress? Did it make the connection with that actor or with that character a bit more special, or was there any highlights on that?
So sadly, and I don't know why, I didn't actually get any autographs. I kind of missed that. I think I was so focused on photo shoots and meeting other fans and going to the talks, I kind of forgot about the autographs. So I'm going to make that my focus next time. But I had quite a few photo shoots. So I booked in advance to see On the Friday, I saw I got a photo with Martha Hackett, who played Seska, among other people.
Oh yes.
And Jeffrey Combs, who's Shran Wayoon. That was on a Friday, which was awesome, and they were both really, really nice. But like you say, it's because there's so many people waiting for photos. It is very much in and out. It's but Martha Hackett was really nice. She said hello. She asked my name. She asked if I was having a good time. So that was really nice. And Jeffrey Combs was great too. He was really friendly. And then on the Saturday, I had a photo shoot with Andrew Robinson, obviously played Garrick, and he was really nice. I wore my Garrick pin, which I think I've got here somewhere. When the DS9 documentary that was on Indiegogo, I backed that, and as part of the reward, I got a Garrick pin, which I don't know if you can see, which is cool. So I wore that when I went to my Andrew Robinson photo shoot, and I pointed it out to him, and he laughed, and he thought it was really cool. And like in our photo, we both pointed to it, which was kind of
He's
cool.
really cool. I remember in Comic-Con, I met him this year back in London. And funny, I was just waiting up in queue, and then Dean Kim was sitting next to him, who actually was playing Clark, Superman from the Lois and Clark series. And he almost tipped over the table, so he almost actually crashed Andrew Robinson. And he was blaming me, and then it's like, oh, did you want to just like, you know, him to fall off? And like, no, I didn't. So he's an extremely nice guy, for sure.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Continue.
So Andrew Robinson was on Saturday, and then on Sunday I had a photo shoot with Kate Mulgrew and Jerry Ryan.
Wow, nice.
So that was really cool. And understandably, they were the two that were the busiest. I think Kate Mulgrew had two 2-hour slots. So she had 2 hours. So an hour slot in the early afternoon, and then another hour slot later in the afternoon. And the same for Jerry Ryan, and the queues were massive. And they were very much, it was like a split second you were in and out, which I understand. That's the way it is. But again, they were really nice, really friendly. So it was great to meet them. Yeah, really, really good. I enjoyed that.
Awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. I'm pretty sure that, you know, the thing is, as you mentioned, like Kate Mulgrew and the Jerry Ryan photo shoot, I did notice as well, like 2 years ago when I was in 2 years ago? Yes, 2 years ago in 2016 when I was in Destination as well. William Shatner photo shoot or Josh Takei photo shoot, all the big ones that, you know, have massive queues. Usually they don't really have that much time. You literally just go in and then go out. It's very, in a sense, it's really impersonal. Yeah. But I did have a good time with most of the people back then, and I really enjoyed interacting with them as well. I always asked for them some funny poses because it's, you know, kind of looked at my pictures on the first one and then just like, hey.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's do some fun stuff. And even with Andrew Robinson, we did like a Garrick impersonation, like something like that, and it was good.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought the same. I was a bit, when I was queuing up, I was a bit hesitant about asking them to do anything because you kind of think they must get asked that a lot and it must get tiresome. But I thought, do you know what? This is the only, you know, I'm probably not going to have another one, or if I do it, it'll be a long time from now. So yeah, I just thought I'd ask Andrew Robinson to, you know, if he could point at my Garrick pin. And same with Kate Mulgrew, I had a picture on my phone of, I don't know if you've seen, there's a T-shirt it says the right way, the wrong way, the Jane way. So I showed her that, and she laughed and kind of like laughingly rolled her eyes and pointed at that at the photo. So that was quite funny. But I think from some of my friends and the people fans I met at the convention and people I interact with on Twitter, they got more autographs, and I think from speaking to them, you have slightly more time, depending on this, you know, the queue and who it is, to talk to them a bit. So you know, some people had selfies with them. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna focus on autographs next year.
Or even if you don't get autographs, I did do last time I did queue up just for random conversations. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
I just walked up to Army Shimmerman when there was like a few people there, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go there and just say hi to him, and just tell him how much loved his character and stuff like that. So I didn't really get any autographs. I told him, I was like, I'm not here for an autograph. I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
really appreciate that too. And you get to talk with them, and you're not spending money as much, at
yeah.
least.
Because I mean, that is a part of it. It can
Yeah.
be incredibly expensive if you don't budget yourself and you're not strict with your money. Because I mean, I could have easily spent thousands. There's so much I wanted to do. So yeah.
That's one thing that can be quite expensive going to these sort of conventions. And I'm pretty sure there were loads of stalls and loads of displays and everything. How was the whole the venue itself? There were loads. I guess there were loads of panels, areas, stages, and also signature areas, but that you can signing areas. But how was the overall, like? How many booths were there? Were there any exciting ones, or what any like exhibition, like some sort of a museum? Because I remember a couple of years ago they had like a massive museum, and then the last time they had like a wall in some uniforms and some props, but nothing really extraordinary. How was the venue this time?
So the venue itself was huge. It was kind of split up into, you had all the photo shoots on one side along the huge room. There was a long line of all the actors that were there at various points throughout the day for autographs. And then you had the three stages, one at the entrance, one at one other side, and then you had the Enterprise stage, which was the paid talk stage, right at the other end of the venue. And then you had dotted throughout various vendors and booths for like the Eagle Moss models, T-shirts, pins, things like that. And there was the bridge shoots. So there was the bridge sets for TNG, TOS. There was a Klingon bridge. There was Quark's bar that was set up, which was really cool. And as well as that, there was a gaming zone where that was set up for playing Star Trek Online, or I think there was people with virtual reality headsets. I can't remember the name of the game, but I think it's when you're
Crew?
Yes, Bridge Crew. That's it.
Yeah,
So
that's not a game.
there were people playing that. There was two exhibitions. So there was a costumes and props exhibition. So lots of uniforms, props like phasers, tricorders from all different series, the movies, which was really, really good. So I went to that, really enjoyed that. I didn't, unfortunately, get to go to, there was a Mirror Universe exhibition with costumes and props from Discovery. I think it was just the Discovery Mirror Universe, I think. But unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go to that because it was so much to do. But I heard really good things about that as well. So there was lots going on. Obviously, there was talks at the three stages. So there was the three stages of the Voyager and Excelsior stage. And then the Enterprise was you had to pay to go to those talks. But there was, you could have quite easily done the weekend without paying for any talks, because the two free stages had so much going on. There was the first talk I went to on Friday when I arrived was at one of the free stages, which was Jonathan Delarco, who played Hugh in TNG. He was being interviewed by the Trekkie girls. That was great. You had the Ferengi family talk, which was Quark, Nog, and Rom. They're those actors dressed up in their costumes with the full makeup, which was, I hear they don't do that often, which you can understand. It's quite uncomfortable being in that. And although Rom and Nog, so Max Grodensik and Aaron Eisenberg, their makeup was a little off, because obviously they don't have the same prosthetics and it's probably different makeup artists. It was still really, really good. But the Quark makeup, Armin Shimmerman's makeup, was amazing. He looked identical to how he was on DS9. And they brought over his original makeup artist that did his makeup on the show.
Wow.
And they used the original prosthetic pieces. So they were telling the story that Armin Shimmerman had, I think he had the nose piece. So he brought the nose piece with him. And the makeup artist had the head, and she brought that with her. So they had to like kind of repair it and try and put it on. But it was brilliant. It looked really, really good.
That's awesome. I do remember as well, like they had a panel, but obviously that was without Shimmerman, and I think I did notice as well that the two makeup for Ram and Nog, even though they looked awesome, but it was a bit off as well. And then I saw pictures from the event and from those guys, and I was like, oh my god, Armin looked so fantastic in that makeup. It was almost like seeing Quark from DS9, just like there.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. It was really, really good. So yeah, there were lots of free talks that had actors that were really, really good. There was a Meet the Admiral one with Jane Brooke, who plays Admiral Cornwell. She was on one of the free talks, and I managed to get in a question to her, which was good.
Wow.
Yeah, there was stages.
What did you ask her?
I asked her. I was racking my brains for something really good to say. So in the end, I asked her about her on-screen, off-screen relationship with Mary Chieffo, who plays L'Rell, because I know you see a lot of photos with them doing that, reenacting that scene from Discovery where they're screaming at each other.
Yeah.
And she said, they're really good friends and they really respect each other. I did ask her about predictions for Cornwell in the future, but she couldn't tell me that, obviously. other than that she's in it, which is good. I like her character a lot. There were talks with authors of Star Trek books, so Una McCormack and James Swallow, who wrote the two of the Discovery novels, which was really cool. And I got to go and meet them afterwards and get a book that I've got of theirs signed by them, and they were lovely. They were really, really nice. Got to have a chat with them. So
did they recognize you as Trekkie Rob, the Trek Book Club person?
Once, I'm pretty sure James Swallow had no idea who I was, but Una McCormack, once I said, I run Trek Book Club on Twitter and we've messaged a few times, she said, oh yeah, okay, and we had a chat about her book, and I'd been talking to her because I know she's an academic and I work as an administrator at a university, so we have that in common. And I was talking about that with her. She was really, really friendly, really, really nice. I had a photo with her. So yeah, there was so much to do. There wasn't a spare second. I was doing something all the time. I could have easily spent another week there and still had plenty to do.
And as I got to know from you and from your Twitter feed that you've been going away some giving away some Trek Book Club badges. I'm pretty sure it was interesting to meet up with the Trek Book Club Patreons and the people actually who contributed to Trek Book Club as well. So how was the interaction with those guys?
That was really fun. It was great to meet people that I've been interacting with on Twitter for like the last year, 2 years, especially people that take part in my Trek Book Club on Twitter. And to support me on Patreon. So I was giving out, I had some badges, some Trek Book Club badges made up, and some special edition Patreon supporters Trek Book Club badges made up. So I was giving those out to people, which was really fun. And one of my Patreon supporters, someone who regularly takes part in the Trek Book Club, I think her Twitter name is, it's Dr. Jen. I think it was Dr. Jen something, but I can't remember exactly what it is. But she'd made up these awesome key rings, some little cross-stitch key rings of lots of different Star Trek characters, and she was giving those out. So I managed to pick out Garrett, which is really cool. It was really cool that she, made those for people. Yeah, it was great to interact with people, that Trek Book Club people. And then see what they were doing, and see what they were dressing up as if they were doing cosplay, because there was a hell of a lot of cosplay, which was cool. Yeah, it was really good to meet up with those people and chat with them, spend some time with them, hang out with them. Yeah.
I did see on your feed as well that you've been wearing Star Trek T-shirts. Have you been thinking to actually dress up as a character or do some cosplaying, or you will actually
When
planning it for next day, next time?
I did when I first thought about going to this year's Destination Star Trek, I did think about perhaps doing some sort of cosplay, but in the end, I just didn't have time, and I wasn't quite sure what to do and how to do it. So I thought I just went the lazy option, got some Star Trek T-shirts, one of which I'm wearing now. But then I thought, what was good about that?
One, by the way.
What was good about wearing Star Trek T-shirts is I could. I know it sounds silly, but you could take a picture of yourself and put it on Twitter and say, "This is what I'm wearing. Come find me." And people said, I knew, because you posted on Twitter that you're wearing, I don't know, yellow Defiant T-shirt, I was able to come find you. So that was really, and people did the same. People were tweeting what they were wearing, so I was able to spot them in the crowd and go and have a chat with them. So that was really cool. But I'm thinking there was such great cosplay. There was one in particular. There was a lady that was dressed up as a Vorta.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you see on the show. She was really good. She got the hair right. The clothes that she was wearing were just like some of the Vorta wear. She was really, really good, and I got to have a chat with her. So that inspired me a little bit. So I might, if I'm brave enough and skilled enough at making something, I might go as an alien character next year. But there were lots of other cosplayers. I met up with a group that were dressed as the French resistance versions of Neelix and B'Elanna with a Hirogen soldier, which was great. There were lots of Klingons, huge amounts of people in Discovery, TNG, Enterprise uniforms. There was one of my friends that I interact with on Twitter, Static Warp Bubble. She's on Twitter. She made her own Enterprise uniform, which was really cool. So yeah, I think it inspired me. So hopefully I'll dress up as I'll take part in cosplay next year. I've just got to think about what I'm going to do.
Well, whichever will be, I'll join you, because next year, next year, because you already announced the next one for next year. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna do a cosplay as well. I don't know who, don't know why, don't know how, but I will. So cool. I encourage you as well. I'll do it too.
Yeah, I haven't thought about what or how yet, but I'd like to. I'd definitely like to.
So that's like there's a year of preparation, so I'm pretty sure we can come up with something.
Yeah.
You mentioned Star Trek Discovery, and just obviously we're not gonna go into the show at this point in this stage, but regarding Discovery in the convention, was it more focusing on Discovery, that everyone was more like Discovery focused, or people really got to, and the whole venue got to get into the classic Trek plus including Discovery, or it was more like focused around the Discovery itself? So I don't know, how did you feel what was going on with Discovery in Destination Star Trek?
I think from my perspective, and others might disagree, I think it seemed slightly more focused. Destination Star Trek this year seems slightly more focused on Discovery and DS9, and I think the only reason it seemed that way is because there were way more actors from those two series than any others. I mean, pretty much the whole Discovery cast were there, and I went to one of the panels where it was the Discovery Year 1 talk where all the cast were there, which was really good. And obviously the vast majority of the DS9 cast were there as well for the documentary. There were a few TNG actors. Obviously Michael Dorn was kind of both. Marina Sirtis, Gates McFadden. There were William Shatner was obviously there from the original series and the movies. Walter Koenig, I think, was there. But there weren't really many Voyager or Enterprise actors there. I mean, there's Jerry Ryan, Kate Mulgrew from Voyager, and Martha Hackett. But I don't think, other than Jeffrey Combs, there was anyone there from Enterprise, which was a bit disappointing. But hopefully there'll be more in future years.
It might be an explanation for the Enterprise cast. I remember, and to be all fairness, I hope they're going to invite them in the future. But the last time when I was in the convention, I remember Conor Trenier and Dominic Keating was there from Enterprise side, and they didn't really have. They were just sitting in an autograph signing area as well. They didn't really have anyone to come up to them. I sort of went there. I tried to talk with them. Conor Trainer was nice, although I had to get back to him like twice, actually, to get some conversation out of him. And then Dominic Keating was a bit funny, to be honest. And even when I was leaving Birmingham that weekend on Sunday, I seen him in the train station. He was queuing up for Virgin train as well to going back to London. Like really, I'm standing just like 5 meters away from Dominic Keating. But they weren't really. I don't know. There's not much people going up to them and talking with them, which is I think is a shame because, they are part of the Star Trek family as well. So
absolutely, yeah.
I guess everyone was really excited about, this time around, DS9 and Discovery, obviously. But I do hope in the future it will improve and we will get some more.
More hopefully. That reminds me actually that you saying about you saw Dominic Keating at the train station on a Sunday when I was going home at the train station, just casually walking past me on the platform. Alice Krieger, the Borg Queen, just queuing up, waiting for the train, which was really random. That was kind of cool.
Did you say hi to her?
I didn't know. She was a bit further down the platform, and I kind of thought, she's been doing this all weekend. She probably wants to rest now. There were a few people.
No, I want some less Star Trek in my life this weekend.
There were a few people that said hello to her, but it was kind of cool just to see her. So that was nice.
Talking about Alice Krieg, I remember last time I had a good 15 minutes talk with her.
Oh, wow.
When I was going for an autograph. She was totally adorable and amazing. I cannot phrase enough. She's a wonderful woman. And even though she's only been in one movie and then a couple of episodes in Voyager, but she's such a wise and great lady to talk to.
Yeah.
I totally recommend if you go into the next one. I hope you will go into the next one, and
absolutely.
we're gonna meet. And if she's gonna be there, definitely totally recommend to go and talk to her. And she's absolutely adorable. Max Grodenchik usually keeps people there as well. In my with my experience, I remember I walked up to him just hey, nice to meet you and everything. And I gave him the picture he wrote. It's oh, who's this for? And it's Gary. It's oh, there you go, Gary. And he was putting my pictures aside. And it's oh, okay, what? Let's have this to dry up a little bit, and we can have a talk. And I was oh my God, really? I'm going to talk with you. That's a privilege. And even with those little interaction, they brought them closer to me in a sense as people, not necessarily as the characters, because obviously the characters are that we know from 20 or plus years now. I mean, I'm being a fan 20 plus years. And you probably same or even more.
Yeah, probably about the same. Yeah, so I was probably about around 11, 12 when I started watching Star Trek. So yeah,
same like me then.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And then next time if you not to pay too much for autographs, but if you're willing to queue up for people and just having a talk with them, they are extremely amazing, and I would absolutely recommend to do that because they are just nice people. And as you mentioned, obviously the fans as well. I met many great friends last time and made a few friends as well. Well, they kind of disappeared ever since, but it is. But I think one or two of them are still that I'm in touch with. But yeah. So overall, was it good? Stupid question, I know, buddy.
No, not at all. It was brilliant. I cannot recommend it enough. Like I said at the beginning, if I was a little bit anxious about going, a little bit nervous, especially if you're going, not going as part of a group, it can be a bit nerve-wracking. but people are so friendly, actors and fans alike. There's so much to do. Yeah, I would just go for it. Just do it, and you will not regret it. It is a brilliant venue. So much to do. So many nice people. Honestly, I think it was the best weekend of the year by far. It was brilliant. Really, really good time, and I cannot wait to go back.
Well, that's absolutely awesome, and I cannot thank you enough to take the time and share your experience on this weekend. If anyone who's watching this podcast, please make sure to check out TrekkieRob in Twitter. He runs the Trek Book Club, and what is currently on? Or you've just finished Titan, right?
So it's taking place as we speak. So you can try and do it on one day, but I never managed to get everything I want to say in one day. So it usually tends to be a Saturday and a Sunday. So yeah, we've read and we're discussing Star Trek Titan Taking Wing, which is the first Titan book all about Captain Riker in charge of the USS Titan. So yeah, but each month we select a book and we read it separately, and then we come together on Twitter over usually the last weekend of the month and discuss it. We ask questions, tell each other what we thought, things we liked, things we didn't. It's good fun. So yeah, if you're interested in Star Trek books, you don't have to have read lots, because I haven't. I've only read maybe 15. This is why I started it, to get into Star Trek books. So you don't have to have read lots. So yeah, come and join in. It would be great to have you.
No, absolutely, and I think you are the only one actually who does Star Trek book club actually. And I've never seen anyone actually who's really like devoting himself to Star Trek books. And you started this club, and I'm still feeling a bit ashamed that I wasn't able to join, but hopefully soon.
Well, you kind of have joined, because you very kindly designed and created the Trek Book Club logo. So even though you haven't maybe discussed the books, you're part of Trek Book Club.
Thank you, but I will try to make an effort and read the book as well, and then just join in a conversation. I'm really looking forward to do that. So anyone, please check out the Trek Book Club and in Twitter, and Trekkie Rob as well. Please follow him and share and read some good Star Trek books. And if any of you you're watching being in the Star Trek convention, please let comment your overall feelings in the description box below. And I think that was it for today. Really, honestly, thank you very much, Rob, to help me with this, and to share your opinion and share your experience in Star Trek Destination. And yeah, see you soon, and everyone, live long and prosper. Okay, let's